There's a moment where you're not quite sure what you're looking at. At first, it feels familiar, almost automatic. A close-up of a woman's face, smooth skin, styled hair, dramatic makeup. The lighting is soft, controlled. Everything about it signals beauty. It looks like an ad or a magazine spread you've seen 100 times before. And then something shifts. You notice the details you didn't see at first. A bruise under the eye, a split lip, cuts across the face, and suddenly, the image doesn't feel the same anymore. So what changed? Was it the image, or the way we were looking at it? These images come from a 2012 fashion spread titled "Victim of Beauty," published in a Bulgarian magazine and later circulated widely online through blogs and media criticism. They follow the visual language of high fashion, photography, tight framing, polished skin, and stylized poses. Everything is carefully constructed to highlight beauty. But layered into that beauty are clear signs of physical violence. And what's striking is that the violence isn't hidden. It's not in the background. It's right there on the face, at the center of the image. So we're asked to look at both things at once, beauty and injury. If we slow down and really pay attention, the images start to feel more complicated. The makeup doesn't just sit next to the bruises, it blends into them. Dark eyeshadow echoes the discoloration of a black eye. Glossy lips draw attention to cuts and swelling. The lighting softens everything, even the injuries. So the violence isn't interrupting the beauty, it's being incorporated into it. And that raises a question: are we meant to be disturbed, or are we still meant to admire what we see? The title, Victim of Beauty, pushes us further. A victim suggests harm, something done to someone. But here, the phrase connects that harm directly to beauty itself. It almost sounds like beauty is the cause, or maybe the cost. And that framing matters, because it subtly shifts how we might interpret what we're seeing. Instead of asking, who caused the harm, the focus moves towards the person who is harmed and how their beauty relates to it. The creators of the spread defended it by saying that the images are open to interpretation, that viewers bring their own meanings. And that's true to an extent. But images aren't neutral. They guide our attention. They suggest connections. They frame meaning in particular ways. And here, everything, the styling, the composition, the title, works together to connect beauty and violence, not separate them. If we zoom out, this kind of imagery isn't completely new. Fashion and advertising have a long history of using shock, violence, domination, discomfort as a way to stand out and seem edgy. But when those ideas are applied to women's bodies, especially in a world where gender-based violence is very real, the meaning becomes harder to ignore. It stops feeling abstract. It starts to feel connected to lived experience. And there's another layer here that's easy to miss at first. Even with the visible injuries, the models are still posed in ways that feel controlled and stylized. Their expressions are composed. Their bodies are positioned for the viewer. So even as we're looking at the signs of harm, we're also being invited to look in a way that feels familiar, maybe even aesthetic. And that creates a kind of tension. Are we supposed to feel uncomfortable, or are we still being invited to appreciate the image? So instead of landing on one fixed meaning, maybe it's more useful to sit with the uncertainty, to notice how quickly we move from admiration to discomfort. Because ultimately, these images don't just show something, they do something. They influence how we look and what we're willing to accept as normal or even desirable. And maybe that's why they matter. not just because of what they depict, but because of how they ask us to see. So when we go back to that first moment, the moment where the image felt familiar, it's worth asking, why did it feel so normal at first? And what does it mean that those same cues are still there, even after we notice the violence? Because maybe the most unsettling part isn't just that the violence is visible, it's that it's been made to fit so seamlessly into something we already recognize as beautiful.